Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video and another plug side chat. I wanted to talk about something that's been going on in California for a little while, and I'm not going to remember the Senate bill for it, but California sort of realized early on that HOAs and condominiums and multi-unit dwelling places were sort of blocking access to electric vehicles. Essentially, what they were doing were implementing bylaws or policies or regulations that were preventing electric vehicle owners from reasonably gaining access to plugs in their parking stalls or in their designated parking spaces within the facilities. And so California passed a Senate bill that essentially prohibited that practice and prohibited HOAs from establishing unreasonable rules that would prevent electric vehicle owners from being able to install a metered plug in their designated parking spaces. Now, a friend of mine recently purchased a Bolt EV, and she was in a discussion with her HOA, and they made an announcement that she would be able to install an electric vehicle charging plug in her garage, but only if she maintained a $1 million liability insurance policy that was payable to the HOA. Now, as it turns out, California, I think, realized that that was an unreasonable expectation or requirement. A $1 million liability insurance policy might not sound like much, but when it comes down to how much you're actually paying, it's about 20 to 30 to $40 a month, depending on whether it's part of a larger insurance package or not. But it represents a significant increase in costs of EV ownership, and it is an unreasonable expectation. Well, California Civil Code 4745 has since been amended, and I believe that law does take effect January 1st of this year, which changes that maximum required amount that the HOA can institute to just simply requiring liability insurance. So you no longer have to, in California, carry or maintain a $1 million liability policy. So if you're an EV owner in California who's under an HOA that's requiring that, I would encourage you to check in on the update to Civil Code 4745 to see if you can adjust your insurance policies so that you're no longer paying an exorbitant amount per month. And for me, I still find that something of a disparate treatment and discrimination against electric vehicle owners, because when you think about it, you're saying that there's no liability insurance required for parking a vehicle filled with gallons of highly flammable, highly volatile accelerant in a confined space in a housing complex. You don't need liability insurance for that. But if you have a electrician certified UL compliant circuit installed that you have to maintain liability insurance, that doesn't make sense to me. And then, I mean, in best case scenario, those other internal combustion engine vehicles, they contain a lot of toxins and a lot of chemicals, and they spew out carbon monoxide and nitric oxide and all of these other gases, that particulate matter, all of which in a residential complex puts all of those residents in danger, whether they realize it or not. It's a sort of a slow burn, that exposure to, the additional brake dust because you can't regeneratively brake. And like I said, all of the particulate matter that comes out of the exhaust pipes. So basically, a vehicle that has all sorts of dangerous chemicals that it spews into the air is not as dangerous for the community as a vehicle that has none of those, right? If you had a house with bay windows and a ground floor, you could pretty much drive a Bolt EV or most other all-electric vehicles and park it into the house, and you wouldn't need to worry about off-gassing. You wouldn't need to worry about carbon monoxide emissions or anything of that nature. So the fact that those other vehicles are allowed in a confined space in living quarters without any sort of liability insurance, and they're basically just one fuel leak away from causing a fire, those don't need liability insurance. Either way, I mean, I just think that it is a completely unreasonable expectation to say that electric vehicle owners need to pay more, even though their vehicles are less likely to cause the catastrophic damage that you're asking them to cover for. Regardless, it's still good that California passed that law or amended the law so that now the HOAs have less restrictive rules that they can impose on people living in the community, and it should hopefully make EV ownership a little bit easier. I personally still don't think it goes far enough. I think California should simply mandate by law that all multi unit dwellings at this point are required to have at least a 40 amp circuit that is metered to the corresponding apartment, running to the designated parking stall for that apartment or for that garage. And from there, the owners are free to, if they want, install an electric vehicle charger or not, but they have the option. It's already built in, it's already available, and there's none of this restrictive behavior that we currently see from landlords and HOAs. Anyway, I'd love to hear what your experiences are. If you're a California EV owner, what are the requirements for you to have a plug if you're in a multi-unit dwelling? Outside of California, what are the laws? I'm not actually familiar with them. I'm not sure which states are really good on this issue and which states need improving. It's possible that you might want to contact your representatives at a state level to see if they can institute similar laws to what we're currently seeing in California if you are being restricted from accessing charging at your home. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel, and thank you for watching.